The movie starts in the future. There are climate changes that hit most places on Earth, and these changes caused a scarcity of resources. Because of that, the government decided to let a small elite of people live in areas protected from pollution. They called these areas the New World. These people enjoy all the comfort and luxury, unlike most humans in the Old World. Not just that, the government also controls who gets to have kids and who doesn't, to prevent overpopulation. This test is carried out by female officials who are sent to couples. The job of these officials is to assess them and decide if they're qualified to have a child or not. Our story starts with Mia. She's swimming in the sea, then gets out and goes back to her house by the beach. Inside, she talks to the AI, which tells her the weather forecast. She then goes to the virtual reality room, where her husband Arian is working on developing virtual pets, because the government has banned owning real ones. Arian asks her, "What are we having for dinner tonight?" Mia tells him she's going to the grow house to get their dinner. Mia goes to the grow house next to their home, checks on her plant, and picks up organic food from the crops. She then returns to the house, makes dinner for her and her husband, and they talk about the official who's visiting tomorrow to assess them, since they applied to have a child. In the bedroom, they talk together. She asks him, "What if the assessment says we're not qualified to have a kid?" Arian reassures her and tells her everything's going to be fine. The next morning, they wake up early to receive the assessment official, who arrives at the door. They open it and welcome Virginia, who introduces herself and says she's the one who will assess them. She sits with them, asks about their life together, and tells them she'll be staying with them for 7 days so she can observe them closely and decide if they're qualified to have a child. If she sees that they are, she'll write that in her report. She also tells them they have the right to quit the assessment at any time and that everything will remain confidential. Mia asks her what the point is of staying for 7 days, and Virginia explains that it allows her to be close to their lifestyle and get to know them personally, to see if they'd make good parents. Virginia then talks to each of them separately, asking about their relationship. She also asks very private questions about their intimate life. During her conversation with Mia, she brings up Mia's mother, who was against the government's policy and was exiled to the Old World. Mia assures her that she is not like her mother. She fully supports the government's policy of protecting an elite group of people and says she wants to have a child to give them a sense of belonging to the state. Virginia asks if Mia herself feels that sense of belonging. Mia quickly answers that she definitely feels like she belongs in the New World. Later, they take Virginia to the guest room where she'll sleep, but after trying the bed, she says it's not comfortable. So they take her to another room, the one they had prepared for the child they hope to have. Virginia likes the room and tells them it's suitable for her stay. Then she goes with them to the virtual reality room and learns more about Arian's work in developing virtual pets. After that, she goes to Mia's grow house, and Mia tells her that she's been working there for years to produce sustainable food they can eat. She also tells her about a plant that's over 100 years old, which her mom gave her as a gift. That's why she's very careful with it and asks Virginia not to touch it. After Virginia learns about their work, she sits with them at the dinner table and eats the organic food Mia grows. Then, Virginia notices a scar on Arian's neck and asks him about it. Arian explains that a few years ago, he used to work in a government lab dedicated to developing virtual animals. But a group that opposed the government's policies planted a bomb in the lab, so he had to jump out before the explosion. That's how he injured his back, and it still hurts to this day. Mia is surprised when Virginia asks her about her mom, specifically whether she thinks her mom deserved to be exiled. Mia finds the question odd, but of course, she says that her mom did deserve exile to the Old World. Later in the bedroom, Arian tells Mia that Virginia is trying to provoke her, that it's part of the assessment, and they must not fall into the trap. While they're getting intimate, they are shocked to see Virginia standing at the bedroom door. She tells them she wants to watch them to make sure they're truly a couple, and asks them to pretend she's not there. Even though it's extremely uncomfortable, they're forced to continue while she watches. The next morning, Virginia joins them at the breakfast table. Her behavior is annoying, like that of a little child. She keeps tapping her spoon on the sugar cubes and doing other irritating things. She pushes her plate away, acts upset, and refuses to eat. But Arian and Mia don't get mad and tolerate her behavior. Then, Virginia throws food at them, and it hits Arian in the eye. He swears and gets up from the table to wash his eyes, and Mia puts drops in them for him. They talk and realize that Virginia is behaving like a child on purpose, to test them and see if they'd make good parents. That's why they need to be patient with her annoying behavior. When they leave the room, they find food thrown all over the place, and Virginia is gone. So they start searching for her in the house until they find her in the virtual reality room, dancing, being loud, and acting obnoxious. They try to talk to her, but she doesn't hear them because of the noise, until Arian yells at her. Then, Virginia stops and tells them that the first test is over. That night, while they're having dinner, the doorbell rings and a strange package arrives at the house. They bring it inside and discover that it contains a kid's tent that they have to assemble. Virginia tells them this is part of the assessment. They have until morning to build the tent. Then, she leaves them to it. Arian and Mia spend the entire night trying to put the tent together, following the complicated instructions, but they fail. So they try again. The next morning, Virginia comes out and sees that they managed to build the tent successfully. She crawls inside like a child and enjoys it. On the fourth day of the assessment, they go to the beach and play hide and seek. Arian looks for Virginia, scares her, and chases after her. Then they sit together and build a sandcastle. Virginia calls him daddy, then gets up to grab something from the beach and leaves them. After a while, they realize she's not on the beach anymore, so they start looking for her and calling her name. Then, they see her passed out on the beach. Mia panics, runs over to her, wakes her up, and tries to make sure she's okay. But Virginia gets upset with her and tells her to back off because she's still mad at her. Then she gets up. While they're walking back to the house, Virginia says she's tired and asks Arian to carry her on his back. Arian agrees and carries her, even though his back still hurts. Then, he puts her down to rest a little, but Virginia wants him to carry her again right away. Mia steps in and offers to carry her, but Virginia refuses because she's still mad at her. She sits outside the house alone while it's raining and refuses to come inside. After a while, Mia goes out to her and talks to her like a kid, trying to tempt her to come in by telling her that there are nice things waiting for her. Virginia agrees to come inside. Mia helps her change her clothes and even gives her a bath. Then, she brushes her hair and tells her that her mom used to brush her hair the same way. At that moment, Arian walks in and tells them they got a message saying that guests will be coming over for dinner tonight. They weren't the ones who invited the guests. They look at Virginia and realize she's the one who did it. It's part of the assessment. Soon after, the guests arrive. One of them is Walter, an old co-worker of Mia, along with his wife, Eva. During dinner, they all talk, and while they're talking, Eva hints that she knows Mia used to be in a relationship with her husband, which is something Arian didn't know. Mia follows Arian into the kitchen and tries to explain why she never told him. But Arian says it doesn't matter and that they should focus on the assessment and the dinner. They go back to the table, and after a while, Arian's mom shows up. She looks upset because Arian applied for a child without telling her. She joins them at the table. Meanwhile, Virginia continues acting like a stubborn child and causes a scene. Then, the guests start talking about the government's policies, how it only provides a luxurious life for a small group of people. They mention rumors that some people outside the old world have started to live again off limited resources and are having kids, living their lives anyway. But no one is sure if those rumors are true. Virginia keeps acting up, and Mia doesn't know how to control her. Then, when everyone raises their glasses for a toast, Arian's mom wishes that her son gets approved to have a child this time. At that moment, Mia finds out that Arian had applied before when he was with his previous partner. She's shocked he hid that from her. She leaves the table, and Arian follows her to the kitchen. He tells her he'll explain later why he didn't tell her. Mia holds off on arguing, and they go back to the table. Then, Eva starts talking about Mia's mom, who was exiled to the old world because she was an opposer and a traitor to the government. Mia holds her tongue and doesn't respond. At that moment, Virginia moves and decides to sit on Eva's lap like a little kid. Eva keeps talking and says that when climate change hit Earth, there was a huge famine and the government had to choose a group of people to let into the new world while leaving the majority in the old world. She calls those left behind parasites who refuse to die and still want to live and even have kids despite the lack of resources. Then, Eva gets shocked when she realizes Virginia peed on her while sitting in her lap. She shoves her off angrily and knocks her to the floor. Mia runs to check on Virginia. When Eva insults Mia's mom, saying Mia will fail just like her, Mia suddenly slaps Eva. That's how the dinner ends. Later, Mia puts Virginia to bed and tells her not to be upset. Virginia thanks her and calls her mom. After that, Mia goes back to the bedroom with Arian, and Arian tries to explain why he never told her he had a partner before and applied to have a child. Mia tells him this isn't something small to keep secret. Arian apologizes and says he was scared she'd think he's not fit to be a dad because he failed before. Mia gets closer to him and tells him she loves him and wants to have a kid with him. And even though the assessment is hard, they have to hang in there for the next couple of days until it's over and they're done with Virginia and her drama. In her room, Virginia hears them saying that. And later that night, a few hours later, Virginia comes out of her room and goes to them, saying she had a nightmare and wants to sleep with them. She pushes herself in and sleeps in the middle. On the fifth day, Mia gets a message saying her sister is sick in the hospital, so she decides to leave and go see her. Arian gets worried about her leaving because it might affect the assessment. When he asks Virginia, she tells him it will affect it, and she tells Mia that if she leaves and goes to the hospital, she'll fail the assessment. Mia argues with her and says there should be exceptions because even if someone were a real mom, emergencies would definitely happen. Because Mia insists, Virginia backs down. So Mia leaves the house. That night, while Arian is sleeping, Virginia comes in and lies on top of him, saying she can't sleep alone. Arian wants her to move away, but Virginia insists. Things escalate, and Virginia admits she wants to be close to him and promises Mia won't find out. She tells him this will be their secret and that he needs to do this to pass the assessment. The next morning, when Mia comes back, she finds them asleep together. It's now the 6th day. Virginia keeps acting like a child at the table, and when Mia wakes up and comes out to join them, Arian asks her about her sister. Mia tells him her sister wasn't even in the hospital and that it was a weird mix-up in names, like someone pranked her and sent that message. A bit later, Virginia walks through the house and heads to Arian's virtual reality room, wanting to get him to come out and play with her. But Arian tells her he's busy right now, so Virginia leaves the house on her own. Outside, she sees Mia on the beach and calls out to her from far away, but Mia doesn't hear her. Virginia gets upset and decides to go to Mia's greenhouse. There, she messes around with the plants, breaks tools and wires, and starts a fire. The greenhouse catches on fire, and Virginia starts yelling for help like a little kid while the fire surrounds her. Even though she's grown and could get out on her own, she chooses to wait for them to rescue her. When Mia sees the fire from the beach, she runs quickly to the greenhouse. When she gets there, she can't get in because the door is locked. Arian shows up, and Mia tells him that Virginia is inside and they need to help her. But Arian freezes. It's clear he's scared, remembering the explosion he survived before. Mia doesn't wait for him. She grabs a rock, breaks the greenhouse window, goes inside, and carries Virginia out. After that, Mia looks at the greenhouse getting swallowed by the flames and feels really heartbroken. That night, at the dinner table, Virginia refuses to talk and gets up and leaves the food. On the 7th day, Virginia sits with them and tells them the results of the assessment. She says, unfortunately, they're not qualified to have a child, and that it's her final decision. Arian is shocked and tells her they did everything she asked. He gets mad and tells her he slept with her in exchange for passing and that she promised to approve them. Virginia denies it and says that never happened, then walks away. Mia is shocked when she finds out her husband cheated on her and slept with Virginia, and out of her shock, she starts laughing. After that, they have dinner without saying a word. Neither of them has anything to say to the other. The next day, Mia goes to the greenhouse and starts digging through the remains. She finds the pipe Virginia broke to start the fire, and right then she realizes Virginia did it on purpose. Out of rage, she goes and smashes the kids' tent they had set up. Arian shows up and tries to calm her down. After she calms down, he tells her he has something to show her. He takes her to the virtual reality room and shows her a virtual baby. She holds it so gently, looks at it with love, and hugs it. But when she smells it and it doesn't have a scent, she drops it in shock. She's not convinced that she could ever feel like a real mom with a virtual baby. She wants to leave the room. Arian tries to stop her and calm her down, telling her that this is the only way they can have a baby now. They're no longer allowed to have kids. It's the rule of the new world in exchange for living the elite life they have. Mia tells him she doesn't want to live that life, and she can't move on until she knows why they failed the assessment. Then she leaves. After that, we see Mia traveling to where Virginia lives. She goes to her house, and Virginia opens the door, surprised to see her. But Mia walks in and tells her she has 5 minutes to say whatever she wants. Mia asks her why she made them fail the assessment. Virginia tries to dodge the question. Mia tells her she treated her like her own daughter, so she has the right to know why Virginia didn't think she'd make a good mom, and why she tried to kill herself in the fire she caused at the greenhouse. Then Virginia snaps and tells her she failed to be a mom, just like all moms fail the assessment. Mia asks her what she means by all moms fail. Virginia tries to avoid explaining, but Mia keeps pressing and asks when was the last time someone passed the assessment. Finally, Virginia confesses that the last time someone got permission to have a child was 6 years ago, and that the government had already decided to stop people in the new world from having kids. But to keep people's spirits up, they kept pretending the assessment program was running. And her job as an evaluator was to prove that any couple applying to have a child wasn't qualified. Mia is in disbelief and asks how she could do that to her. Virginia gets angry and says most evaluators quit within a month, but she had to keep going to get her reward, and the reward was a child like they promised her. Virginia goes on to say she endured so much just to have a child, and she's not going to let anyone blame her for her decision. She also wants to be a mom and feel that again. Then we find out Virginia used to be a mother, but her child died, and ever since, she's been living on the dream of being a mom again. Mia feels sympathy for her and apologizes. Then she asks if people outside, in the old world, went back to living in their areas and can still have kids. Virginia tells her that it's true, but life in the old world is hard because resources are limited. The next day, we see Virginia heading to evaluate a new couple. She starts doing the same routine again. The wife takes her to the bedroom and leaves her to rest. We can tell Virginia is emotionally affected by having to go through all this again. When the wife comes back into the room, she finds the balcony door open, and that's when we realize Virginia decided to jump off the balcony because she couldn't take doing this job anymore. On the same day, we see Mia at the gate of the old world. She's decided to leave the elite world because she wants to have a baby. As for her husband, Arian, he's at the beach in front of their house with a virtual little girl. He looks toward the house because his wife, Mia, is calling him. And we realize he created a virtual version of Mia and decided to live in that fake virtual reality. Then we go back to Mia as she steps into the old world. She takes off her oxygen mask and breathes the air, even though it's polluted, but she accepts it, all for the chance to have a child and feel what it's like to be a mom. And the movie ends. See you in the next recap. If you're vibing with the video, make sure to slam that like and spill your opinions and comments. I'm hyped to read them. And yo, gotta subscribe so you catch all the straight fire recaps coming soon.